These are the instructions on how to embroider your paper boob kit. It comes with a frame, the pre-cut paper, a practice paper, a needle, and fiber. You'll need the needle, the practice paper, and this fiber. Unroll the fiber and separate one strand. Double knot the end of your strand. Thread the other end through your needle and leave a small tail hanging out. You should have a short tail, your needle, and then the knot. Use this practice card to practice the French knot. Bring the needle up through the first hole and pull the yarn through until the knot catches at the back. I'll demonstrate the knot twice and then break it down slowly. Holding the thread with your left hand, we're going to wrap the needle around behind it and then place the needle into that same first hole we came out of. We're going to pull that excess yarn until a knot forms. Bring the needle up through the next hole, the second one. Pull that yarn through, and then with your left hand, hold the yarn in place so you can wrap the needle around and catch it. Don't let that yarn drop like this. You want to make sure that you're catching the yarn so that when you bring that needle through the second hole, the same one that you came out of, it's actually going to form a knot instead of undoing that stitch. So here I am pushing that needle through the second hole and pulling it until a knot forms. Okay, here's that process really slowly. Bring the needle up through the third hole. Using your left hand, hold the yarn there. Wrap your needle behind it and then out. Turn your needle horizontal to catch the yarn, and then insert the needle back into the same hole you came out of, the third one. Then pull your needle through and a knot will form. You're going to be repeating these knots. It's the only stitch in this kit. Use this card to practice the stitch. Pull the yarn tighter here in order to form a smaller stitch, or leave it looser in order to form a larger, bolder stitch. Stitches on the right here are smaller because I pulled them tighter, and the stitches on the left are bolder because I pulled them looser. When you're comfortable with the stitch, go ahead and flip the card over on the back and then tie a double knot. Cut the excess yarn using scissors. After the practice, you might have enough yarn left over to continue stitching with that piece of yarn. If not, just go ahead and thread another piece of yarn onto your needle. Thread it the same way by tying a double knot at the long end of the yarn. It'll look like this with the double knot at the long end, your yarn, and then your needle and a short free tail. Now you're ready to start stitching. I start at this dot here at the very top, and then I work my way around. So we're going to thread the needle from the back and pull it all the way through until our double knot catches at the end of our yarn. And start stitching your French knots across the holes through the paper. Use your left hand to hold that yarn out of the way. Wrap your needle around behind it. And then insert your needle into the same hole that you came out of, so that first one. Pull it through until a knot forms, and there's your first stitch. Let's look at this closer. We're going to come up through the second hole, pull the yarn out, use your left hand to hold that yarn, and then wrap the needle behind it, turn your needle horizontal, and then insert it into the second hole, the same one that you came out of. Pull the yarn through until your second stitch is formed. When the yarn you're working with gets too short, flip it over on the back and then tie a double knot and clip the excess off with scissors. Continue this process through every single one of the holes on the piece of paper, and then you'll be left with something that looks like this, which is ready for framing. Remove the back of your frame by opening those tabs and pulling that backing out. Insert the embroidered tits into your frame, replace the backing, and close the tabs. Make sure this hanger on the back of the frame is facing the correct direction. so you don't accidentally hang your artwork upside down. And here's your final artwork. I'd love to see your finished artwork, so tag me on social media at Leslie Espino Art or email me through my website.